It is the time of year where we all get to get our hearts broken again. So welcome. I'm happy you're all joining me here.
Am I excited? I can feel it in my plums, the excitement.
Am I excited about NHL playoffs? Yes, but also as a Leaf fan, not really.
I am excited. I think this is our year, you know?
I am excited, yeah. It feels like this has been happening for so long. I'm ready to get into it.
So excited. Best time of the year.
I have prepared for you a little questionnaire, all right?
Okay.
There's a pen on Eric's face. You can also use Eric's face as a clipboard.
Nice.
We don't look anything alike anymore.
Oh, I can write on Eric.
Wow, look at all this camera time Eric's getting, eh?
Please start with your name and date, actually.
Oh
Luca.
man, this is so formal. I haven't had to take a test in forever.
I'm so nervous. Look at how bad April's written. It's written like a toddler.
Let me get my glasses on here. Who will be the Stanley Cup champions, other than the Jets?
If I put the Leafs, I'll just look like an idiot, but I should pick them.
Your Toronto Maple Leafs.
See, like usually I'd give you the homer pick and just say the Leafs because I need to say the Leafs every single year until it finally happens.
Because if I don't, it might be bad karma. So I'm gonna pick them even though I realize how ridiculous I sound saying that the Maple Leafs will be Stanley Cup champions.
I don't think on an individual level I have any sway on the powers that be, but I do think, like, what's the point of being a fan if you're not going to root for your team?
But I have zero faith in this roster for them to win the cup.
And you know, sometimes you crash hard. Often we crash hard, but you know, you gotta shoot your shot.
Last year I actually had tons of faith and they slapped me in the mouth. Maybe this year I won't have faith and I will pick the Toronto Maple Leafs. I had you for a second, didn't I? You can't chirp us anymore, we want a playoff round.
Anyone knows me, they know that I am putting the Colorado Avalanche as your Stanley Cup champions.
It's hard to find a weakness in the Rangers, and I think that they could honestly go all the way this year. So I'm gonna lock in the New York Rangers.
Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, two best players in the league, or two of the best players in the league. I'm going with the Avs.
This guy's not a homer.
No, see, like I've just constantly thought that the Leafs have a chance at the Stanley Cup, and now I feel like this is a reverse psychology situation where as long as I think that they don't stand a chance at all, then maybe I'm gonna get surprised.
You have to be an absolute homer right now. Like you're telling me Jesse didn't pick the Jets? Please.
I think the Jets will be Stanley Cup champions.
If you were asking me who, if I couldn't pick the Leafs, I'd probably say that's so tough. A Vegas repeat, probably. So who will they defeat in the final? Let's hope it's Vegas.
Okay, who will they defeat in the final? Guys, what if it's the Canucks?
Who will they defeat in the final? Why is Mark Stone gonna just like be fine the first game of playoffs and they're gonna just rip it all the way to the Cup Finals?
Vegas, like, can you really count Vegas out? They've sort of been scuffling recently, but I mean, they're the defending Stanley Cup champs.
It's either them or Colorado for me. Let's go with Colorado, just for funsies, because I hate the Golden Knights.
I think that I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm gonna say the Colorado Avalanche. Their lineup hasn't turned over too much, and their deadline moves were probably the best in the league, in my opinion, other than maybe Vegas.
I feel like the Canes are there. Like, I feel like Jarvis is buzzing this year. Gensel's an X factor. They can beat anyone in the East right now. Although, call me nuts, wouldn't want to play Tampa Bay.
What if it's the Canucks? What if we have an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final? Isn't that the dream? Let's dream today.
I do this every year. I feel like whenever I fill out my bracket, I do the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Colorado Avalanche. And the reason I do the Leafs, I think they're probably, for the first time in a long time, kind of underrated going into the playoffs. I don't think there are as high of expectations maybe outside of Toronto and in general in the hockey world about this team. So going with the Leafs.
All right, next one.
Who will win the Conn Smythe? Well, the Avs win the Conn Smythe. Cale's already got one. That means that Nathan McKinnon will finish the season with hopefully an Art Ross, a Hart Trophy, and a Conn Smythe and his second Stanley Cup.
Or Connor Hellebuyck, of course. It'd be Helly. Helly if the Jets win.
I think that if the Rangers are going to go all the way, they're going to need big performance from Igor Shesterkin. He's one of those goalies that you can just rely on him every single night, and he'll likely not disappoint you. So I'm going to lock in Shesterkin.
Let's not be silly billies here. If the Leafs win the Cup, there's one man and one man only, because he would have scored 50 goals throughout their playoff run. It's AM34.
I guess like I'm going Leafs. I'm gonna go with the best player, or will I? No, I'm gonna go William Nylander.
I'm gonna say Austin Matthews. Austin. Points for spelling.
No, I'm going Austin Matthews. Because if they're gonna win the Cup, he needs to be an absolute unit out there this playoffs, and I think maybe this is finally the time.
Plan the parade.
Will a team touch the Eastern or Western Conference trophy?
Yes. No. Because I don't think anyone's touched it the last couple years, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm going to say yes. I've got better than a 50-50 shot at it because there are two teams with two decisions. I don't know if that's how the probability or the math works on that, but I'm saying I have a better than a 50-50 shot at it, so we're going yes.
And I guess no. Do I believe in the curse? No. But that's hockey players, you know? They don't like potential curses.
Yeah, I think the Avalanche are going to touch the trophy because I'm pretty sure that they already touched the trophy. If I'm sure that the Avalanche are going to touch it, then I don't really care what happens with the Rangers. So yes, they are going to touch it.
I feel like the Leafs will touch the trophy because they haven't been close to a trophy in so long that just getting presented one would be so exciting that you just have to touch it. And the Avs will too. Both. Both of them.
So cheap that Vegas won last year. Like, honestly, like, miss me with that. That stupid heart photo that they took after from above, like, is actually probably one of the coolest photos in NHL history. But still, they can kiss my ass.
Will any wild card team defeat a division winner in the first round? Yes.
So last year it happened, right? We got Seattle as the wild card winner beating the Avs. Florida beating Boston. That was another wild card.
Will any wild card team defeat a division winner in round one? Yes.
Any wildcard team? No.
I'm gonna go yes. I am gonna go yes because the West wildcard teams are good.
To win your division and have to play this scumbag organization that injures all their players all year, and then all of a sudden game one, they pull out the God Squad, that's bullshit.
There is no greater parity in any sport across the world, so I would imagine there's gonna be weird results all over the place.
I'm gonna go with the LA Kings to upset somebody. I'm a big believer in this team. I don't know if a lot of other people are, but I love what they've got up front. Like, I love Fiala, I love Kopitar, I love Dubois, I love Byfield. Kempe's really good. Doughty on the back end.
Vegas or nobody.
With question 6, we're trying to identify the homers, and I'll be one of those homers.
What round will the Leafs be eliminated in? Interesting. None. They will not be eliminated.
How bad is it that I'm calling myself a homer because I'm saying that they'll get eliminated in round 2? Win. That's a win right there.
No rounds because they're winning the Stanley Cup. 0.
I already said they're gonna win. None.
I'm putting it on paper, so basically we're manifesting this.
Well, I was actually just thinking about this. I think Matthews is going to get really hot. He's going to hit 70 goals. Leafs fans are going to act like it's their Stanley Cup. Then he's going to completely cool down in round 1. They're going to get beat, so I'm going to say 1.
If I'm sticking to this, like, maybe I could switch up an answer and just say, yeah, I think they're gonna make it to the Cup Final and lose, but then also they'll be eliminated in round 2. I don't think that's how it works, though. So they're gonna be eliminated in the 4th round.
Which Canadian teams will win the most playoff games? The Leafs.
Matt, you're just asking the same question over and over again. How many times do I need to tell you? I'm not even gonna write out their full name anymore because I read it too much. TML.
Technically it has to be the Leafs because they're gonna win the Stanley Cup. Wow. This is such an easy test.
I think that the Edmonton Oilers, they're probably the most skilled team offensively. I understand that there's concerns on the defensive end, but I think that they have what it takes to just get into shootouts and win them.
I'm gonna go Leafs because I predict them to win. Then I'm gonna go Canucks.
This one's tough because I'm not a big believer in the Canucks. I mean, actually, it's not tough. I mean, the Leafs. I have them going to the Cup Final, so they're gonna win the most games. I didn't realize I'd be. This is how this questionnaire would go.
I'm going to go with the Oilers. As we discussed on the pod, respect to Vancouver for everything they've done this year, but like, they're the one team in the West that I would want to play as a Jets fan because They just don't have the experience, and I think that cannot be. We can't just ignore it. Let's say that.
The Canadian team that's going to win the absolute least playoff games, I think it is your Winnipeg Jets.
What team will win the fewest playoff games?
Okay, we're making enemies here.
Whatever bum team from the Metro slides in there, them. Sorry, you're all frauds.
Capitals as the team that wins the fewest games.
Washington is going to win the least playoff games.
I'm sorry, Capital fans. I want Ovi to win it, but I don't think he's going to win that many playoff games in a stacked Eastern Conference.
Which goalie will have the lowest goals against average, at least 120 minutes played?
None of that cheap. Come in and for the last 10 minutes, shut him out and
Coward play to just think you're going to sit on top of the save percentage stat rankings for the first 3 rounds because he played 6 minutes.
I'm gonna go off the board here. I'm gonna say Freddie Anderson. Call me nuts. I think he's gonna have a good playoff. I think Carolina's defense is that good, and I think they're just humming right now.
Maybe it's a team that makes it to a conference final and loses. I'm gonna say Frederik Andersen of the Carolina Hurricanes, just because I think they're gonna go to the conference final, probably face the Leafs, and they've got the easiest path there as far as like they'll probably play Philly in the first round or Washington. So I'm going with Freddie.
But if not him, it's Bobrovsky, because Bobrovsky was just stupid good last year, and he's gonna be very good again in the playoffs this year.
Wall's gonna sneak in there, so he's gonna get a couple shutouts, but he's not gonna take the job away from Ilya because it's his job right now.
Joseph Wall also stresses me out.
I'm gonna say Joseph Wall.
I'm just gonna go Shesty.
I gotta stick to my guns here and just say Shesterkin. If he's winning the Conn Smythe Trophy, it probably means he has the lowest GAA, and he definitely has played at least 120 minutes.
But then when Matthews lights the lamp on him 4 times a game, that's gonna absolutely decimate his GAA.
Just because I was so rude to him earlier in the year, and now I like him so much as a person, Jake Ottinger. He's had a rough year, and I hope he has a bounce back in the playoffs.
Which player will have the most penalty minutes in playoffs? So who's a tough guy that's going deep into playoffs and not gonna get scratched?
Revo! If anyone grows the stones to fight him.
Ryan Reeves, because I think he's just gonna be a menace in the first round, and I just think even if they get knocked out in the first round, he's gonna collect a bunch of penalty minutes.
Unfortunately for Ryan Reeves, he was hired to fight people, and nobody wants to fight him. But he will have the most in the playoffs, because he probably just won't ask permission to fight you.
I think that Sam Bennett, based on last year's playoffs, he likes to mix it up. He's involved in everything. He sort of toes the line quite a bit. I think this year it catches up to him. I think he gets at least 1 10-minute misconduct, maybe even booted from a game.
I'm being such a homer right now. I'm like, who on the Leafs can I pick?
I mean, I gotta guess Rempe at this point, right?
Hard not to say Rempe at this point. Like the Rangers are gonna make it in and he's gonna just be dropping the gloves.
This guy is just racking up PIMs.
Okay, let's say Rempe then. Rempe loves the box and he loves to be talked about.
It just doesn't happen a lot in the playoffs though. It really doesn't. I'm gonna go Corey Perry of the Edmonton Oilers. That guy he just mixes it up. This is probably way off base, but Corey Perry.
How many overtime games will there be throughout the playoffs? Oh my goodness.
How many games are there total in a Stanley Cup playoffs usually?
On average, there's probably about 5.5 to 6 games per series.
The maths, right? 8 series for the first round, 4 for the second round, 2 for the third round, 1 for the final, 15 series.
With probably about an average of 5 or 6 games per series, say that there's gonna be 100 playoff games. Now on average, how many of those would go to overtime?
I'm gonna go 21 OT games.
Based on my power of deduction, 16 games are going to overtime.
21 overtime games, seems right.
I don't know. I'm gonna say 20. Screw it.
There'll be 27 overtime games, and the Leafs will play in 20 of them.
I'm gonna guess 14. That is an incredibly uneducated guess. I don't know how many there normally are, and I haven't thought it through at all.
What's one wild prediction you have for the 2024 playoffs?
3 of 4 Canadian teams get bounced in the first round. And based off all my other predictions, I don't know who the only team who will make it will be.
Boston gets knocked out in the first round again.
I don't know if this counts, but the Oilers being eliminated in the first round.
Vancouver makes it far and doesn't burn down their city.
I mean, the Leafs making the Cup Final is a wild prediction in itself, but if I need to rile up another Canadian fan base that will hate me, Vancouver Canucks losing in round 1.
I think that Zach Hyman is gonna go deep with the Oilers, and I think that he's gonna lead the Oilers in goals. I'll just add on to that, I think he's gonna finish in the top 3 of playoff goals this year.
And winner of Avs versus Jets if they play in the first round wins the cup. Thank you, sir.
Wow, Eric approves. Did you pick the Leafs too? He did? What a loser.
Follow-up question. When the Leafs win the cup, and I don't want to spoil your inevitable tweet that's going to come out.
The order? John Tavares, to Mark Giordano, to Austin Matthews, to Morgan Riley, to Mitch Marner, to William Nylander, to Timothy Liljegren, to Ilya Samsonov, to Joseph Wall, to Tyler Bertuzzi, to Max Domi, to Benoit, to Reeves, to Brody, to McCabe, to Labushkin, to Pontus Holmberg, to Edmondson, to Bobby McMahon, to Matthew Nyes, to David Camp, to Kalle Yarncroc, to Connor Dewar, to Nick Robertson. Okay, there you go. There you have it. Spoiler alert.